Just super proud of them, and that to enjoy it like we discussed the week before, because you're one of three teams now in AJ history to make it to this point. The last one being 1990. So I mean, it's been a really long time since AJ's been in this position. And then just the big thing was, though, that they've earned the right to be here. Like they're the ones that have done the work. And when you put in a lot of hard work for things, like, you need to enjoy it, and then just take a moment to kind of think on that. But that's kind of the interesting thing with in the playoffs and making it this far is, yeah, you want to enjoy it, but then now we got another game to go. So learning how to basically take those times and moments for enjoyment, but then also knowing how to focus when it's time to go to work. And that's what's got us to this point. We can't lose sight of that. And so we got another week coming up of prepping for a really good team. And also just know that we've earned the privilege of practicing on Thanksgiving, which is a really big deal. That I was reading something this morning that people talking about, like, that's a goal for a lot of people at the beginning of the season. And, that means that you got a good football team and you've had a really good season. And so we've gotten to that point, and just it doesn't happen very often. So it also makes it, though, for kind of a different schedule. But anyways, just again, proud of them, super proud of the defense, and just playing a stellar game. And then the offense, just keep humming along as far as having guys making plays when we needed to. And then the special teams doing a really good job too. So, I mean, it's just another great team win and a really good feeling to play and so well against a really good team in Barnwell. I mean, they were undefeated coming in. Like, nobody had really kind of gotten close to them. So I thought our guys just did a really good job of prepping during the week and being ready to go on Friday. It was really cold for South Carolina and for kind of the usual. And so it was trying to get used to those elements, and I think that played a role in some of the game, was just which one of the teams was, going to be better prepared for that. And yeah, we had some issues early on, but I felt like we did a good job of making sure that they just weren't huge blunders. And we had 200-yard rushers, so the offensive line did a really good job again. And we ended up not having to throw the ball very often, but we did what we needed to do to win the game. And I thought we executed. We had one of our fewest penalized games. So, I mean, just another excellent job. And that's what you want to see, is us getting better each week and performing at a high level, especially this point in the season. Defense was probably their best game of the season. The next one that comes to mind was maybe when we went to Pageland. Defense played super well that night too, but we were going up against a really tough offense to defend. I mean, they had a back with over 2,500 yards rushing, and they had a receiver that was really good, and a quarterback that could spin it really well, and a big offensive line. So, but we kind of prepped all week to try to take away what they do most, and our guys just really focused on those details and had a good week of practice, and then we're ready to go on Friday, and then just did a good job of taking away their playmakers, and being in position to make plays. We had a little difficulty on the first drive getting lined up, but we got that fixed, and then from that point on did a really good job. And again, we had guys step up that haven't played on that side of the ball a whole ton, but again, that's what you hope to get at this point. And what that means to me is that the team's just kind of won, and that's ultimately what you're trying to get accomplished in a team game is getting, especially the defensive unit, to get them to play as one. And that's really, really tough to stop when you got a team that's doing that. Special teams did a good job. We ended up having a punt a few more times than I would like it towards the end of the game, but at that point the game was probably in hand. I know that's one of those that we joke about, that, you know, at what point do you kind of feel comfortable? And I don't normally get real comfortable till the last horn, but the special teams did a good job. Tyson Funderburg did an excellent job with the kickoffs and trying to keep the ball away from their playmakers. And then our cover team on that went down and did a good job. And then he also did a good job on the extra points. We need to do a little better job with, the other team trying to isolate some of our guys on the field goal team and them being able to kind of bear down in there and be strong. But, the way we grade it, we were +6 this week. So that's just another excellent job. And you need that, another part of that too. I mean, it takes all three phases of the game to make a run like we've done so far. Yeah, we actually, Coach Phillips, Mr. Phillips, one of our assistant principals, came in and spoke to the team Friday morning and told him that, people that believe in y'all's ability to win this game are in this room, and basically in our community. And I think something else that they've done a really good job of, our guys, the players, is just not focusing on what we can't control. And so that went right along with his message to them. But that if we go out there and play confident and play our game, that we're tough to beat. And so we felt like, yeah, we had a good shot, but yeah, there was a lot of doubters. And so I know that's tough to hear from in a teenager's mind, to keep being told you can't do something, you can't do this, or this is going to happen, and to try to block that noise out. So just again, super proud of the way that they did that. And one thing we kind of thought going in was just that we didn't know if they had played a team as physical as we are, and that was the first thing that we heard from them after the game. Was one of their parents talking about it, a couple of their players talking about it, just how physical, and that we just are nonstop. And again, to me, that's just I take a lot of pride in that, as far as, just that means our team's playing as one and just believes in each other. And that's what we've really focused on this year is, just focus on each other, like focus on AJ. And so, yeah, carrying that over into the weeks afterwards, I think it's going to be a really big boost. Got a little pep in our step more, and just being able to practice again on Thanksgiving. That's exciting, and getting to get to that point. So yeah, definitely, I think puts some confidence in us. But I think also too, our guys at this point have understood that we, again, that enjoy it, but then we got to get back to work. And so hopefully it doesn't make us too arrogant, too cocky, rolling into the next game. Yeah, we and the assistant coaches, we have done a really good job of narrowing it down to just a couple of things for the guys to focus on. That's one thing we've learned, and with our guys, is just that it's easier for them to focus on a couple of things and instead of a bunch of different things. And for us to, get into the details, and then kind of back to what I was saying a minute ago, focusing on AJ. Don't worry about the other team or, what somebody's saying and all that stuff. And our guys have really bought into that. And basically we kind of just repeat that over and over and over again to them throughout the week, during football class, and then out on the practice field, and just, we see them in the hallway, and, kind of giving them little phrases to keep in their mind. And then again, kind of certain points to think about. And so, again, though, like, to me, like, they still got to do it. And this bunch this year has done a really good job of that. I think the captains for our team, that they've done a good job of leading also, and just making sure that our guys stay focused on what the message is that week. But I mean, the main message, we haven't changed since the beginning of region of what's important now, 1-0. And so they've just done a really good job with that. And I think that also kind of developed some confidence in them that, well, hey, we said this and we did this last week and it worked. Why wouldn't it work this week too? They're a really good football team. Got some big guys, some big lines, but we've seen some really big offensive lines and defensive lines already with some good players, and I felt like we've performed. And one of those that we haven't backed down from any sort of fight and basically competition. And today. Tuesday is our competition day. And so like we crave that. I told the guys first thing yesterday morning that, this is another one of those weeks. If you're not excited about playing in the lower state championship, being in the semifinals, then you need to check your pulse. Like, I mean, this is something to get up for. And you expect that every week it gets a little more difficult and that you want to in life to be in those situations. Like you want to compete against the best. And so, that's what we're going to have this week. They got a really good running back, but they're in a way similar to us that their line do a really good job on both sides, developing holes for their running back and quarterback to run the ball. But then their defensive line does a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage and keeping those guys off of their linebackers so that they can make plays. But they fly to the ball. They're very disciplined, very well coached. And just do a good job of it. And so, it's going to be a challenge, but it's another one of those challenges that we feel like we're ready. And I think it's going to be another one of those games that nobody's really given us a shot. And so our guys, I think, feed a little bit off of that too, having that chip on the shoulder and being ready to go. And we're excited that we get to host. It's just a blessing to be able to host the lower state championship. Yeah, it's wonderful just from the player standpoint because we just go through our normal after school routine. This Friday will be a little different since we're not in school, but at the same time, kind of developing that comfort or routine. We had to do this against Pageland, where we brought the guys in a little early and made sure they were awake, and then started going through our process that we start about 3:30, and just keeping them on that routine. But we discussed last year coming back from Saluda in the first round of the playoffs that we needed to win region and put ourselves in a place to host playoff games, and we've done that. And then fortunately, the bracket fell our way that we hosted throughout if we keep winning, and just not getting on the bus and riding for however long is a big thing. I mean that's tough to especially if it's somewhere new that you've never been before. Kind of getting acclimated to that when you get off the bus and looking around and playing. And I think that was a little bit of what went into the factor last week against Barnwell was just them having to ride on the bus and not being at home for them, not being in their comfort zone. So it happens. Doesn't happen very often. I think South Carolina is one of the few states though that still allows the semifinal games to be at a home for one of the teams. A lot of places they play at a neutral site even in the semifinals. But another interesting thing about AJ is they've actually, I think, are one of the few schools to host semifinal games and then a state championship game. The last time AJ was in this position, it was the upper state. Never hosted a lower state game, but back in 90, and then they hosted the state championship game that same year in 90. Hope to have a really big crowd. Our guys definitely feed off that, enjoy that, and that makes communication difficult for the other team when they got the ball, and it's just fun. I mean, it's to me that's again one of those situations you want to be in. Like some of my fondest memories of being on the football field is when you're at a stadium that's jam-packed and you can't hardly hear yourself sometimes, and it just makes it fun and exciting, and those guys get to enjoy that atmosphere too, and just a memory that they're going to be able to carry for the rest of their lives.